Hey guys, it's Fida and today we're going to be making honeycomb cinnamon bites stuffed with cream cheese. If you like cinnamon rolls, you're definitely going to love these cinnamon bites. They're just so delicious and they're perfect for breakfast or as a dessert and snack. We have the very soft buns stuffed with warm melted cream cheese with the cinnamon sugar mixture on top and the cream cheese icing. So without any further ado, let's get on to making it. Let's begin by making the dough for the buns, and first we need to bloom the yeast. For that, into a large mixing bowl, I'm pouring in warm milk. Make sure the milk is not too hot, otherwise the yeast will not bloom properly. Into that, add in some sugar, 1 tablespoon of yogurt and half a tablespoon of yeast. Now give that a small mix until the sugar dissolves and then let the yeast bloom for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, this is what it should look like. The yeast should be well bloomed. Now into it, let's add in 1/4 cup or half a stick of melted butter and 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Also add in a pinch of salt and then mix it all together until you have a smooth dough. The dough is going to be very soft, so you don't necessarily have to use your hands. You can just mix it in with a spatula. Now let's cover it with saran wrap and let it rest at room temperature for around 2 hours or until the dough doubles in size. After 2 hours, here you can see that the dough has doubled in size. Now here I have half a cup of flour. I'm going to sprinkle some of it onto the countertop. You don't have to use up the whole half cup. You only have to sprinkle some of it on the countertop and the dough because the dough is very soft and kind of sticky. Along with that, add in half a teaspoon of baking powder. Now knead the dough until the flour and baking powder are well incorporated into it. Knead until it's just incorporated, not more than 5 minutes. Now here you can see that the dough is ready. It's still very soft but less stickier because we kneaded in some of that flour. So now let's divide the dough and cut them into small equal sized dough balls. So here I've cut up the whole dough into small pieces and I've gotten around 35 pieces of dough. We need to keep this covered with a cloth while we're working with each piece of dough because we don't want the rest of it to dry out. Next I've taken cream cheese and I'm going to break off a little bit of this cream cheese and keep it in the middle of this dough. Then close it around and shape the dough into a ball. Now a lot of people might not like cream cheese, so if you are one of them, you can just skip this step. Instead of stuffing the dough pieces with cream cheese, you can directly shape them into balls and place it onto the baking pan. Now let's place it onto our baking pan. I've lightly buttered the surface of this baking pan. Continue doing the same thing with the rest of the dough pieces. Now if you want to make this recipe for breakfast, it's obviously not convenient to begin by making the dough early in the morning. So instead you can do this the previous night. That is, you can make the dough, let it rise, cut them into pieces, stuff with cream cheese, and then shape them into balls and place them on the baking pan. Do all this the previous night and then cover the baking pan with a saran wrap and keep it in the refrigerator overnight. Next morning you can take it out and continue the recipe as it is. But if you're not going to make it for breakfast, you don't have to refrigerate it overnight. So once you've shaped them into balls, place them on the baking pan and then let it rest on the countertop itself for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, we can make the cinnamon sugar mixture. For that, here I have half a cup, that is 1 stick of melted butter. Into this, I'm adding in 1/4 cup of brown sugar and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. Mix that in until the brown sugar is well melted. Now here, the cinnamon sugar mixture is ready. And once the dough balls in the baking pan have rested for 10 minutes, we can pour the cinnamon sugar on top of it. You can use a spatula to spread it around evenly. And now it's ready to go into a preheated oven for baking. And side note for people who kept it in the refrigerator the previous night for baking in the morning, after you take it out of the refrigerator, make sure you let it come completely to room temperature before baking it. While our cinnamon bites are baking, let's make the cream cheese icing. For that, into a blender, add in 2 heaping tablespoons of cream cheese with 2 tablespoons of icing sugar, 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of milk and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Blend that together until you have a smooth icing, and if you feel that the icing is too thick, you can add another tablespoon of milk to loosen it up. And now here my cinnamon bites are fresh out of the oven and perfectly baked, so I'm going to pour the cream cheese icing on top. So there we have it, our cream cheese stuffed honeycomb cinnamon bites are ready to be served. This recipe is so delicious, you're definitely going to love it, so make sure to try it and send all your feedbacks in the comment box. And definitely make sure to serve this warm, that way the buns are going to be very soft and the cream cheese inside is going to be warm and melted. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching Love Cooking. Bye bye.